So, hello, welcome to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm very sorry for now that I may sound a little bit different today. I don't know, haven't slept that much in the past few days or week. Because, I quite like working on these kind of stuff, on my social media platforms and so on. It's just, I feel like I'm doing something that's contributing my life and that's, maybe giving me something in the future. And this some kinda is not good for my health because I don't not sleep that much. And you should definitely sleep as much as you can, but it's good for my mind. But nevertheless, a lot of buts today. We're going to discuss Smart Cuts by Shane Snow, which seems to be a book about shortcuts. And I generally do not like shortcuts because I made the experience that a lot of, that making shortcuts most of the time leads you to a negative outcome. And, just by not doing any shortcuts, you would be better in the game than with doing them. But I'm pretty interested in it, also because the cover is just kind of great designed, and I've seen this book a lot recently. But the book in 3 sentences. You can do incredible things in a short amount of time, which is true, and this is also something I've been talking or thinking about lately quite a lot. Working hard and working, long and so on is good. It's good, but and another thing is working fast and efficient. I tend to really do not work efficient, and this pisses me on a little bit because I'm wasting a lot of time. And when you be like doing things faster or more efficient, you can in general do more than with being a little sluggish with your time management and just watching there a little bit YouTube, just besides working and so on. That's why I now tend to remind myself to work faster, even though if it's not very correct or correct 100%, it's better to work fast in today's environment, as even Jeff Bezos says, than working really precisely 100% correct. Because a lot of times just working fast is good because the mistakes you may make can easily be reversed. For example, I tend to not put as much time into creating my social media posts, so in explicit the Instagram posts, because I think as long as I get my message out there, everything is okay. And so, there is for sure there is something like, quantity and quality, and these two things should be some kind of correlated and, in a good relationship with each other. But the one and the other, in the extreme isn't that good, at my point of view at least. But let's see, the second thing is to rethink conventions, think literally, which I do not really get what that means. The third one is paying dues prevent progress. What are dues? I only know due to. But let's see, the 5 big ideas of this book are: the first one is momentum, not experience, is the single biggest predictor of business and personal success. The second one is people are generally willing to take a chance on something if it only feels like a small stretch. The third one is mentorship is the secret of many of the highest profile achievers throughout history. The fourth one is failing in business doesn't make us better or smarter, but succeeding makes us more likely to continue to succeed. The fifth one is, and by the way, I do not really like the fourth one because I think, at my point of view, failing is just, even though I really hate failing and I just, say it all the time when I'm talking about failing, I hate failing and I hate losing and I hate all this negative kind of stuff because I can't do it. I like to win, I like to be good at all things and so on. And, for me, it's something I really have to learn and, some kind of emphasis with that, not everything can be done, or not, I can't do anything very good, or, I'm not the best at everything. This, it's not possible. But I think that failing and, having tough times in life can be pretty life-changing, and, can really form your character and your body and so on. Yeah, but the fifth thing is, often the thing holding us back from success is our inability to say no, which is, I think, common sense, or commonly, I wouldn't say discussed, but commonly known, that, most of the people do not really like to say no. And I may be some kind of this person, because I always try to have time for everything, even if it's hard, but I think it's, the right thing. And I always tend to do the right thing instead of the easy thing. And the easy thing might be, not that tough to do, or the time consuming, or whatever. If it's not the right thing, I won't probably do it, because, my gut says it's not right. It's not, it's not how I should live my life, as easy as it is. Let's see if everything is okay. I'm very sorry, because I'm switching between my desktops, as Apple sees it, and there is sometimes, this black background, because I'm switching. I'm sorry for that. But let's look at the actual summary in here. New ideas emerge when you question the assumption upon which a problem is based. Okay, the second one is lateral. It's lateral and not literal. Lateral thinking doesn't replace hard work. It eliminates unnecessary cycles, which is true. But the thing is, Google Trans. I've been talking a lot about DeepL, which is, at my point of view, the best website to translate anything, because I think it uses some kind of deep learning, because, of the name DeepL, it might be some kind of thing, or I think it's some kind of AI. But if I'm not wrong at this assumption, or if I'm wrong at this assumption, you can, please correct me in the comments, or, DM me, and then I will or won't say this again. But lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is, I see. Doesn't replace hard work. It eliminates unnecessary cycles, which is kind of true. But I think it's the same thing with all this motivational kind of stuff. I know I do kind of a lot of motivation and so on as well, but at the end it doesn't get you anywhere. Even though you just evolve your mindset, and I tell people who are just pretty down to listen to motivational speeches all the time, because I made the experience that it, really helped me get out of my hole and, really create that character that I have now and form, my mindset, which is, of course, pretty important. Having the right mindset is, I think, the key to a successful and also happy life. But only listening to motivational speeches or certain podcasts without, taking any action won't get you anywhere. It's just, makes sense. I had to set that one. Leverage is the overachiever's approach to getting more bang for her proverbial buck. Momentum, not experience, is the single biggest predictor of business and personal success. People are generally willing to take a chance, or yes, it's chance or whatever, on something if it only feels like a small stretch. Because all we people are just, pretty lazy. If it seems like, doing quite nothing, everybody would do it, because, it seems easy. But if something seems hard, everyone is like, no, I do not want to do this. It's time consuming, or no, it's hard work. Ugh. But Wike says, once a small win has been accomplished, forces are set in motion that favor another small win, which is, at my point of view, some kind of true, and I really know it because of sports. I think, if two teams are playing against each other, for example in football or in soccer, it's a lot of psychological stuff going on, because I think, and I made the experience that in school sports especially, when one team is really not maybe better in terms of the players, but they had the luck or the chances or whatever is playing whatever these factors are, if they are the first one, or the ones who just dominate the game, even though they aren't really that better, and so on. This dominance, or this dominance, it's progressing exponentially, I think, because you, for example, in soccer, you make the first goal, then the other team is like, we can do this, we have the players and so on. But if they get another goal against them, these people are just some kind of psychologically or subconsciously not in the mood of winning, or some sort of, it's really hard to explain, and I hope you get what I mean. But I think it's contributing what the author, or Wike, I don't know if it's the author is, wants to say. But let's see. Mentorship is a secret of many of the highest profile achievers throughout history, which is some kind of true. But mentorship, or mentors as a term, is spongy, if this is an English expression. It's just not like some fixed thing. A mentor could someone be you talk to once in a week, or who is some kind of friend and is a business partner of yours, or just somebody you look up to, and somebody whose opinion is pretty important to you. But this whole mentorship thing just really cranked up and fired up because of social media, and because of a lot of successful people like to have mentors. And I understand it, because most of the time these are people that are pretty successful and have made what you want, and just by doing what they did, your chances are really high to achieve also what you want or what they have. But I wouldn't say, and it's also something that Gary Vee is emphasizing with, you do not need a mentor. He didn't have a mentor. Maybe his dad was a mentor. It might be possible. Even you have a mentor as well. Just, as I said, somebody you just look up to. But, it's something it's hard for me to think about, like, you really need it. It's something optional, and, yeah. Let's go ahead. Enough talking, enough stumbling around. Let's see. Underhill found informal mentoring produced a larger and more significant effect on career outcomes than formal mentoring. The thing is, what's informal mentoring? Well, let's see. Informal mentoring is initiated by either a mentor or mentoree, may last a long time, and is more of an emotional commitment. So I think, informal mentoring is like, you get to know somebody and you really emphasize with them, or him or her or whatever. And then because of this relationship you have with them, you start getting mentored by them, or just, talk about things you want to achieve, and, they have achieved, maybe. Which then formal mentoring would be some kind of contract, I think. Let's see. Initiated by an organization, formal mentoring features specific guidelines and structure to the relationship, which is some kind of common sense for me that this isn't working as good as a real relationship between two people. There's a big difference, in other words, between having a mentor guide our practice. There's a big difference, in other words, between having a mentor guide our. So let's see where I've stopped. So I've already talked about failing in business doesn't make us better or smarter, but succeeding makes us more likely to continue to succeed, which is, kind of true, but kind of not. It's, something pretty difficult. It turns out that the surgeons who botched the new procedure tended to do worse in subsequent surgeries. Rather than learning from their mistakes, their success rates continuously declined. On the other hand, when surgeons did well on a new surgery, more successes tended to follow. Which is, I think, alright, my point of view, or I assume that this is something psychologically. If you just, you did something bad, or something, not pretty good, then you might be like, you fear that the next surgeon will also be not good, and so on. So yeah, when doctors fail due to what they perceived as bad luck, they didn't tend to work any smarter the next time. They attributed failure in a way that made them feel as good as they could about themselves. We externalize our mistakes because we need to live with ourselves afterward. The difference was how much the feedback caused the person to focus on himself rather than the task. The research showed that experts, so people who were masters at a trade, vastly preferred negative feedback to positive. It spurred the most improvement. That was because criticism is generally more actionable than compliments. Innovation is about doing something differently rather than creating something from nothing, which then would be an invention, or doing the same thing better, which would then be an improvement. Often the thing holding us back from success is our inability to say no, and this was actually it with this book. The next time I really have to see if this book is long enough, because this really wasn't, and I just have to see. So the last episode, or the last thing, I have cut it together because there went something in between, was 15 minutes long, and so this one is 2 minutes long, so not the real amount I really want to have. But maybe I'll go over some things I didn't really get, but let's see. I will translate this one also on the DeepL website. Oh yeah, I got that one correctly, which is, I think it's, something I can really understand, because, if you fucked up once, you might be like, you are just feared of doing it wrong again, or bad, or whatever. Yeah. So, but when they say that failing in business doesn't make us smarter or better, but succeeding makes us more likely to continue to succeed, it's, for me, it's just about courage, or, being discouraged by, the task you did, or whatever. Because, as I said, it's something psychological. If you failed once, for most of the people, failing isn't some kind of subterm of growth, or, learning, or whatever. Most of the people see failing as something negative. And so maybe they just connect the negativity of failing with, their task, or, what they do, or with themselves even, which then leads to, an endless circle of, or, graph maybe, of, continuously getting worse. We externalize our mistakes because we need to live with ourselves afterwards. I just have to Yeah, this doesn't get me anywhere as well. The difference was how much the feedback caused a person to focus on himself rather than the task. The research showed that experts preferred negative feedback to positive. It spurred the most improvement. That was because criticism is generally more actionable than compliments. This reminds me of something I have been discussing on this channel as well, which then is that negative feelings are, so just really simplified, so negative feelings stay longer in your mind than positive ones, and the negative ones seem to be overwhelming in terms of the relation between the positive and the negative ones, which then which then leads to the assumption or the thought or whatever that positive or negative things really get you to do more about certain things than the positive ones, because you see criticism, nobody really likes criticism, and maybe because of that, to some kind of protect yourself, you start to do some things better to not get the criticism again, or again. But that's only some kind of what I'm just thinking, just giving you maybe some things to think about, or think along with me, or even think further, which I'm not thinking about. And if it's so, just let me know in the comments, or DM me, or comment on my posts. All the social media links should be down in the description. Either if you're on YouTube, down here, so beneath the video, or if you're listening to the podcast, I don't really know. My fault. I don't know. But yeah. But I don't really get why they're just talking about innovations and so on, just on the really end of this article. But yeah, what's 15 plus 7? 15 plus 7 should be 22 minutes. Is some kinda okay, but there's nothing more to talk about this. And when there is something, just as I said, comment down below. I hope you got something out of it. I especially in the first part, I was talking a lot, and everything went quite well, but to be honest, the summary wasn't that great, because you didn't really get the real insights of this book, or you do not feel, or I don't not feel like knowing exactly what this book is all about. Maybe it's because of the length of this article, or just the book itself. Maybe this doesn't provide any informations I do not know yet, or couldn't have thought of before, or something. I don't know. It's always difficult. But I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, or night, or midnight, or whatever you're doing, wherever you are. I hope everything is good for you. But I'll see you the next time.